Senator Cooney.
Thank you, Chairman, and welcome, Acting Superintendent. It's good to see you as well. Thank you for engaging with me. And I think based on all of our comments here today, it sounds like you've definitely done your homework and reached out to all of us. And I'm sure we all really appreciated that one-on-one time. But while we're in this more formal setting, I wanted to represent the views of one of my areas of focus, which is on the legalization of recreational cannabis. And I think you and I discussed that I've had the pleasure of serving as the co-chair of the Marijuana Task Force, along with the Assembly Majority Leader Crystal Peoples-Stokes for the Black, Puerto Rican, Hispanic, and Asian Caucus. And as we're getting closer and moving the ball towards the rules and regulations that are coming out from the Office of Cannabis Management, one of the barriers that I hear about, and I'm sure all of us have heard about over and over again, of course, is safe banking. And we know that a lot of these conversations have happened on the federal level from your time in DC, and they continue to happen. But of course, we have an opportunity here in the great state of New York to lead on this issue, as I believe we will be one of the largest and most successful, integrated, and inclusive markets for recreational cannabis. And so we want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity, whether they're upstate or downstate, whether they have resources or whether they're young entrepreneurs trying to break into this new market, that they have the same opportunities to succeed. And so often banking can be a hindrance to that opportunity. And I wonder if you could share a couple of comments. And of course, like the other senators before me, we can of course continue this conversation offline as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Senator Cooney. You're absolutely right. I mean, there's so much to this burgeoning industry. And of course, we have to make sure we're mindful of tensions between the federal landscape and the state regulatory landscape. But I think two things that are very apparent to me from your question. One, for so long, communities of color were penalized when it came to marijuana and cannabis. And now that it has become legal in so many states, including New York, it's incumbent upon all of us to make sure that those communities can participate equitably in the space and reap the economic gains that are sure to come as that industry develops. And as part of that, those businesses have to have safe and secure access to financial services. Too often, these companies are dealing in cash because they don't have access to banks, and that puts them and their employees at a physical risk because they're dealing in that cash. And it's just quite unfair that these businesses should have to face that physical risk because they're dealing in cash and don't have access to safe financial services. So it's a evolving issue that we look forward to working with you and your colleagues on, and of course being mindful of what we need to do to stay aligned with the federal government when it comes to banking regulations and anti-money laundering requirements that come from the federal government, but making sure that here on the state level, we're doing what we can with banking and insurance to support this growing industry and making sure they have safe financial services.
I appreciate that. And I think, again, thank you for emphasizing that this is particularly important for communities of color. The city of Rochester, that I'm proud to represent, is a majority minority city. And of course, we want Rochester to be able to participate in this marketplace. And I think time is of the essence. So I hope as we continue to have these conversations, we'll be able to move the ball forward working with you, hopefully, and the governor. Thank you so much.